Okay, so I'm Melissa Cordier.
My name's Vanessa Martin.
Okay, so for our first question is if you were to pick a side on the Common Core debate strictly based on the information from evaluating research, which would you pick and why? So that's like the movie, right?
Yes, the movie or
Okay.
the documentary.
Okay. So to be honest, I thought it was really interesting because I've heard a lot about the Common Core, and my mom's a teacher, so she tells me some of it. And after watching it and watching, because weren't there like two people that were actually like on the board, and then they like decided not to be on it because they didn't believe it or something.
Something along those
Yeah,
lines.
like I didn't know why they were, but anyways, so after watching that and seeing like there were tons of like professors and like just tons of like people I felt like that were very knowledgeable that
Mm-hmm.
did not agree with the Common Core. And so after watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I don't think Common Core is just like, I just think, I guess I don't agree with the Common Core. That's what I'm getting to. And I think just because before I didn't know a lot about it because I never really had it, but after watching it, I kind of understood it a little bit better. And coming from like professionals, I felt like that was really good information or reliable source to count on. So I think that's why I would pick. I wouldn't agree with it.
Yeah. So I'm kind of on the same lines. I wouldn't agree with the Common Core based on this video. I feel like the video was like super negative about it.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like they did kind of represent both sides, but I felt like it was more on the negative side of the Common
Yeah.
Core. But like you said too, I liked how they had professionals, so they had teachers and professors and stuff like that making
Yeah.
their point. I really liked that. So that's why I wouldn't, based on the question and based on just the video alone, I would not.
Right. Yeah. I thought it was interesting though because yeah, they did have a lot of people going against it, but then they did have people on there that they talked about like why they were for it. And
Yeah,
so, which I thought was interesting. Like a lot of them were against it, but then they kind of would like throw things in like, oh, well, this person though, they believe it's like this. Da, da, da. And I was like, oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, so no, yeah, I agree. They were more on like, I don't agree with it.
yeah. At least that's, I don't know, that's kind of how I felt. But like I guess like the documentary itself, because every now and then they would give blurbs or like they'd type in little like
Yeah,
statistics and things like that. And I felt like
yeah,
those statistics were, I guess, kind of on both sides, but I felt like they really were more on the negative. But most of the people that were talking were showing negativity towards it. So
yeah. No, I agree. I definitely agree. Okay, so the next question is, do you think that much of the Common Core curriculum ignores how do you say that word? Empirical
empirical.
based developmentally appropriate practices for children? Why or why not? Do you want to start?
Yeah, let me look at the question one more time.
Okay.
Development approaches. So I think that the Common Core does ignore children that have like special needs or who are like a little bit slower in learning, and so they kind of just group everyone into one. And I feel like classes, and they group everyone also across the state or across the country, so everyone has to abide by the same lines. And it was interesting. One of the guys in the video, he talked about how in Texas they have like 3 different high school degrees that they can get. I don't know if that's true or not, but do you remember that part?
I think so.
Like there's like a high school degree or a high school diploma that you can get that's like more geared towards if you're going to college, or
Yes.
and then there was like a second degree for like community colleges, and then there's like a third degree that you can get for just like graduating high school.
Right. Yes.
I thought that was kind of interesting. And with the Common Core, it's kind of just straight across the board. Like you can't really adapt it to different people's needs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's not really appropriate for, I guess, our children these days.
Yeah, no, I would totally have to agree. I think that's what I really don't like about the Common Core. It's not, it's just like these standards which is good. Like, I get it. Like, they want everyone to be kind of at the same level. But I just feel like every child is unique. Every child learns differently. Every child is not in the same, like, area. And especially, like, so my mom teaches, like, a special education class. And so she still has these Common Core standards. And she's like, they are not at that.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I totally agree. Like, just some children just, like, they're not going to be at that right at that point. And so I think we have to remember that, and we have to, I don't know. I think that's why I'm, like, not for Common Core. Like, I get it. Like, I get what they're doing, but I'm like, I just feel like it's just, I don't know. It's just maybe not right.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I mean, even like different kids learn differently, but in different cities and stuff like that. Like in like crappier cities and stuff like that, kids are going to have a lower IQ rate and everything, so they're going to learn slower than people in like more populated cities with parents that like work with them rather than out working instead of working with their kids. I don't know.
Right. Yep, I totally agree. I know. Okay, so Terry is like messaging me and said I think he's trying to get on. So let me try to
get him on here.
Get him on here.
Okay.
I think he's just kind of confused how to do it, to be honest. Oh,
hey.
No?
There you go. You're on, babe.
Oh, you're right.
We just came out of the temple.
Oh,
good.
I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
We can see you. You're good.
You can't see us, right?
No, we can't.
Just like last week. It's probably a blessing for you. Yeah, so if you saw my message, it's our really good friends, and then it's her mom and dad got baptized a year ago, and so they just went through the endowment, and they didn't warn us, or they seemed to know, but then they just got sealed, and then she was sealed to them. Oh. And so anyway, we had to do that first, and I was laughing, just go, well, the Lord comes first. I guess we just won't make this meeting.
No, you're
fine. I'll be quiet, or ask me where I should catch up with you while my wife and I are driving to find something to eat.
You're fine. So we started just a little bit, so we're just moving on to our next question. So you can just jump right in when we ask the question.
All right, that'll be super.
Okay. Okay, so the next question is, what have you learned from cultural imperialism about the persuasive function of research and science in creating cultural change? That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Could you? That was a joke. That was a joke. Sorry.
Did you hear that, Terry?
Said, I'm sorry, could you repeat the again, please? It was meant as a joke.
Oh, no, but did you hear the question, though?
I did. I heard the whole question.
Okay. Good. Do you want to start, or do you want someone else to start?
No, I'm going to need to fill in, because right now I'm about 4 hours from the last time I ate, and so we're pulling into Sombrero, so I'm just going to try to get out of the car where I can hear a little bit better, and then I'll see if I can fill in a little bit, because I'm actually driving. It was a little deep, but go ahead, and then I'll see where I can jump in, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go in with you, but I'll just stand outside.
Okay, so this question, I'm going to tell you the truth, I honestly don't really know what it's asking about.
That's how I feel, to be honest. I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, so it says, what have you learned from cultural imperialism about the persuasive function of research and science in creating cultural change?
So I guess maybe like, maybe, this is what I'm getting. I think maybe how like research, maybe like persuades us a different way to like to change our culture. Because after like, you know how we had to find like a research article about something, and then but it wasn't like a good one. It was very biased or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe like I feel like research and science, they almost make us change our culture because we like believe it, and then we're like, oh well, this has to be true, and then we kind of like go off of what they say, when in reality like we haven't seen both sides, so we have to like, I don't know, be open to it. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't really know.
No, I think that totally makes sense. I think that totally answers the question. I don't know what else to add to that besides I agree.
Does anyone else have anything to say? I don't know.
That was really good. We take science to be fact, and so that's probably the big reason why I included the science concept in it. But keeping in mind that if you've been on the planet like as long as I have, the things that were facts that came from science have changed over the years. So obviously the only real eternal truths are the ones that come from the gospel. But yeah, I thought that was a great answer. But that's a big reason why, I think, is because when we attach science to it, we go, oh, well, there you go. Then this must be true.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like history. When history keeps being rewritten about every 20 years. And so, in fact, that's why even though I keep getting an A in history classes for the last 40 years, I keep having to take them again because it's changed over the years. So what people think were facts back then are no longer facts.
Huh.
Anyway, great answer. That was a great answer.
That's interesting. Yeah, I feel like the world changes a lot, so the research changes and the science changes, so it makes our culture change. And so maybe that's kind of what she was asking.
I don't know.
I was confused about the question. I was like, I hope someone knows.
I was like, Terry, you gonna speak up?
I'm like, Terry.
I'm not gonna. I thought the very first answer was right on the money. It was really good. So,
all right.
Just keeping in mind again that it keeps changing, and so, but it truly does keep changing. Things that we thought were facts, and I'm going to say this real quietly. 1973 have changed a whole ton over the years, and of course, it's changing faster than ever now with technology. So, yeah, great answer. Go with that first one.
All right, we'll go with that. Okay. Yeah, do you want to read it, Vanessa?
Yeah, I will. So it says, what lessons have you learned to make you more skillful in combating your chosen topic or threat? So through this week, I guess I've learned that not all research is good research. There is bad research versus good research, and that a lot of articles will try to persuade you. I think I knew that, but it just didn't really stand out to me, and I didn't really I don't know, put a finger on it. But now that I'm reading articles, I can actually point out and see how they're trying to persuade me and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess from picking my topic was about pornography. And I'll be more prepared to look at articles better and see how they're trying to persuade me, good versus bad. So,
yeah.
Even though pornography is bad, I don't really see how I can find stuff that's on it. But
no, that's I totally agree though. It helped me just kind of be more aware. I think also I really liked in the article that we read this week was it talked about how you need to look on the bottom of the article and see the professional resources or whatever it's called. And so I think that's important because sometimes I don't even look at that. I'm like, oh, it's a great article, whatever. Yeah. And so I think that the article just kind of opened my eyes. We have to be aware of the research we're doing and that it's not biased, because a lot of articles are very biased. But I don't know. So I think that's what I learned. I need to make sure it's not biased. And it's kind of looking at both sides, and also make sure that it's reliable sources.
Yeah.
So.
That's outstanding. I'll throw in my 2 bits here. Yeah, you literally can turn on CNN and they're going to report the same exact thing that's on Fox News, and it's an entirely different story depending on who's telling it. So finding out who the researchers are, and are they tied in any way? Is there some kind of financial reward for them? I don't know if anybody saw my my post yesterday, but literally it was a guy in Italy, and they were recommending that people smoke e-cigarettes, and well, he was making money. Yeah, he was part of that group, and so while he was also the head of the group that's supposed to get getting rid of smoking, he's going, hey, but this is okay. Well, that's because he's making money. So I'm trying to stand around. Oh, I'm at some Burroughs now, and somebody left a really good amount of food on this one plate, and I'm kind of contemplating going for it. That's where my wife says, you've got no class. Okay, so
That's awesome.
we're near the drive-through too. So, all right. Anyway, outstanding comments. Who is it that's actually, presenting the information, and what actual tie-ins do they have to it? Also, is there some financial gain or reward they're going to get from presenting it a certain way? Huge. Right. Yeah, I love. Tell a little quick thing for you. I'll just say this: when I was growing up, even when I was like your age, there were two grown men, old guys, and they were sitting in front of a TV camera, and they were usually smoking because everybody smoked back then, and they were just giving you the facts. They weren't telling you their opinion or how the particular channel wanted you to hear it. You could turn on every channel, and they were giving you the actual facts, and that was called the news. And now it's become people's opinions of what it is and how they want to present it. So it's the same idea here when we're doing research.
Yeah.
I'll be quiet. Go ahead.
Okay.
I liked that. So the next question is, what do you think it means that all people are entitled to their own opinions, but not to their own facts?
Sorry. No, I'll just say I'll go first really quick for you. There's a great line that we use sometimes where very, very misguided young people sometimes about what they think the world is about. Not our folks, not you folks, but anyway, we actually say to them like, hey, I don't want to confuse you with the facts. They have tremendous opinions. If you're watching the news, they're shutting people down when they're trying to talk at political things, whatever it might be, especially Bernie Sanders group. And it's like, here, let me give you the actual facts and see. And they're like, no, I don't want to hear any of that. So it's a different way of saying it. Don't confuse me with the facts. You can have facts or facts. Here, put it in one more way. When you go to court in a police situation, when I would write a police report after arresting somebody, it wasn't what I kind of wanted to say happened. It wasn't kind of what I thought might have happened. They're the actual facts of the case. That's what the judge wants to hear. That's what the jury wants to hear. What are the actual facts? It doesn't matter anybody's opinion about anything or anything else. What are the actual facts? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no story behind it. Or, here's the bad guy. Nope, these are the facts. This is what happened.
I like that.
But if you want to get out of jury duty, just say you knew somebody was a police officer. If they arrested the person, they're guilty, and it'll get you right out of jury duty.
Good to know.
Good, you laughed. Okay.
So I agree with you, Terry. I think a lot of people these days get facts mixed up with opinions, and they just get it confused. I feel like that's a huge thing these days. That people just don't know the difference. Facts are exactly what you said. It's exactly what happened. It's not from our certain point of view or anything like that. It's exactly like how it happened. And opinions are how people see it. People are entitled to their own opinion. You can have your own thoughts and different things like that. That's good. But facts are facts. They're what they are. So.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I like that you said that, like, people get confused about facts or opinions, and I think that happens a lot today. Like, I don't know, like, people tell them something, and then they're like, oh, it's a fact. And it's like, no, that's probably their opinion about it. But so I didn't even think about that, like how people, until we like were talking about it, how people get confused with them, like opinions and facts. I probably, honestly, I've probably done it. And so I don't know. I think it's important that we have to remember like what is an opinion and what's a fact. So yeah, I think it's important, like especially in our research, like there's going to be a lot of opinions out there and not just facts about it. So yeah.
I agree. So the next question says, why can statements that begin with "I've heard" or "you know," they say be so unique when articulating your point? So I think it kind of goes. Oh, what? Oh. I think it kind of goes exactly what Melissa just said. That you know, when you've heard people say stuff that like you get confused and you don't know if it's actually like a real fact or an opinion, stuff like that. And so when people said like, "Oh, I've heard," then it kind of just helps you to know like, okay, well, it might have been a fact at one point, but now it's just kind of their opinion. Like switched it and kind of just jumped up into their own thought. So.
Yeah, I have to agree with that too. Like, I feel like it's almost like the same question.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, I've heard or you know they say, like, it's just like,
In court, oh, hearsay.
oh, what?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. The enchiladas are really good.
You're fine.
No, I didn't. I forgot. I was trying to pull the phone further away so you couldn't hear it. The cheese enchilada was really good. In court, it's called hearsay. When somebody says, "Well, I heard this," or I was told this, that's called hearsay. It's the same idea. It's like, wait a minute, that doesn't mean that's what happened. In fact, in fact, you actually didn't see what happened. Yes, I didn't see what happened. I just heard about what happened. Okay, well, nobody cares.
Right.
Yeah.
That's called hearsay. Makes sense? It's like, yeah, so it's the idea, the same idea. I heard this happen. Okay, well, so who told you and how many people told them before it got to you? It could be an entirely different story. So,
Yeah.
good.
The telephone game. Have you guys played that?
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, it's just like, I think it just gets passed down and then everything changes. Like, it always never gets passed down how it was really started.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think we just have to be aware of those. I've heard and you know they say, I don't know, like it's just an opinion kind of thing. It's almost like a myth sometimes, like, I don't know, when I think of those, so, yeah.
So the last question is, so far we have heard the importance of having the doctrine in our hearts. Why do you think it is so important why do you think it is so important to have good science in our minds and mouths? I think it's important because you can't always argue, or I wouldn't say argue, but state your point using the gospel with some people. I think some people just say, no, I need to see the hard facts. And so it's good to be educated and to know that, and just to have that in your mind and stuff like that, rather than just using the gospel. A lot of people just don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that side of it. You want cold hard facts. So I think it's in our minds and our hearts.
Yeah, I going along with that, I think just we have to have science in our minds and mouths is because it's important to have good science in our is because people want facts about it. Like, we can't just say our opinion. Like, that's not going to get us anywhere. Like, we have to know, like, basically know our stuff so we can defend it, kind of thing, like what you were saying. I don't know. I just agree what you have to say. I thought that was awesome. So.
Yeah.
Can I interject something for you? Your opinion actually will make a big difference, because if they see that you're someone with the integrity and the kind of person like you girls are, when they see that, your opinion actually does matter, but it does have to be backed up with, you know, here's why I know this, here's why I believe it, that kind of thing. You know, and in the church, we say we know things. Well, we know things because we do them. And as a result, we don't say we believe in something. We go, hey, I know the gospel's true, and here's why I know it. And so, by the way, that's John 7:17, I think. If any man will do his will, he shall come to know the doctrine. whether I speak of God or myself. So anyway, I just want to make sure you know that too. That yeah, I don't care a whole lot about opinions, but there are certain people when they're talking, I'm like, yeah, I'm
Right.
listening. This is really important. This is really good stuff. So, and that's where thanks for letting me join in your group because that's where you girls are at. You're doing good.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so should we just, do you want me to just kind of start summarizing it and you guys can just jump in?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so we first talked about the Common Core debate, and so we kind of decided like it more was on the negative side of it, but they had some opinion of the better side, the okay, like they agreed with it.
Yeah.
So we kind of agreed that like we should probably like with that in mind, it can't be biased, or we don't really know the other facts. And so we also agree that the Common Core it ignores like what the children need, because each children is unique and each child needs something different, especially in like special education. The Common Core just isn't going to be up to their standards. Like they need something different.
Each state needs a different standard as well, along with each city within that state.
Right, yeah. No, for sure. And then about the culture, we just
Wait a
kind of
second.
talked.
Can I interject something really fast?
Yes, go for it.
My wife is a special needs teacher, has been for 17 years, and she's in the public schools. Anyway, this is perfect because this is what we're talking about here. So there's become an opinion that's been formulated, in fact, kind of like throughout the church too, and through conservatism, that the Common Core curriculum is a really bad thing. Here's all these reasons why. If I gave her the phone, she'd spend an hour explaining to you that there's nothing wrong. It's just something that was developed. It's a way to test people. It's a great situation, and now we're going to spend a lot of money and come up with a whole entirely different one. I don't know if you're getting my point on this, but it's like, wait a second, because a whole bunch of people started saying, wait, my opinion is that the Common Core is a really, really bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people started buying into that. And we kind of laugh and giggle and go, if you've actually been in a classroom with real teachers and they're teaching, there's nothing wrong with it at all. It's just a way of testing people, that's all. And somehow opinions have erased that and it's becoming something new. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess I don't agree because, so my mom's a teacher as well. And so, she's a special education teacher. And she does not like the Common Core at all. And so I don't know, maybe it's like different like places. I don't know really what it is. So like
pretty uniform, but you see what just happened there? It's like you disagree, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll listen to it. That's the whole key, is to keep listening and paying attention, and maybe there's something else there. So here's a
well, the interesting thing is like I was telling Vanessa before, I like never grew up with the Common Core, so I don't like even really know, like I know kind of about it, but not that much. So I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, the point is we wanted to make sure we listen to people's opinions because that's how we learn.
Right.
So when you shared a different one, okay, that's cool, that's interesting.
Yeah. But, okay, and then from the culture thing, we just talked about how research and science changes our culture because, like, the research and science always are changing, so it's, like, always changing how we are, who we are. Is that what we kind of came up with?
Yeah, no, you answered that, yeah.
Okay. And then, we also talked about how it's helped, like, the lessons that we learn to make us more skillful in combating our chosen threat is, like, to make sure that, like, to really understand the article you're reading, make sure there's, like, resources and it's not biased, because then you'll know that it's a reliable source. And then what do you think it means all people are entitled to their own opinions? So everyone has an opinion. Like, people can have their opinion, but it's not necessarily means that they're facts. So you have to be aware of what opinion is and what a fact is, because they're completely different. And so, I mean, it's okay to have an opinion, but we have to just realize which one is which. And then, why can statements? Oh, okay, and then the statements I've heard, they say, it's almost like, it's just an opinion. I don't know, some of them are just opinions. I mean, they may be facts, but if you hear I've heard, or it's kind of like what Vanessa said, it's like the telephone game, like things just get changed over time, and so you don't know if it's the full fact. And then, why do you think it's also important to have good science in our minds and mouths? We talked about, okay, Terry brought up how we can have an opinion, but we need facts to back it up, which is really true. Like, we all have an opinion about something, but we have to have facts to, like, make people, like, understand where we're coming from, or, like, why we believe that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's what we talked about.
I think that's great. I think you covered it all.
Is there anything else?
The last one, real quick, I think it's also good to have science behind it, because whatever you learn down here, we're going to take with us in the hereafter. So it's just good to have as much knowledge as we can down here, so not only doctrinal, but also science and... Yeah.
Right. No, yeah. No, I agree. No, that's right. Anything else, Terry?
Hey, you know what? I'll throw my other last thing, and that was really great. The really cool thing is the older I get, the less I know I'm sure about anything. How's that make you feel? Because if you listen and you're paying attention, you're not 100% sure about hardly anything except for one thing: the gospel's true. It actually, how things catch up to the gospel will actually always keep you centered. But if you're listening and you're paying attention, it's the only way you continue learning is if you're listening instead of talking, which I'm doing all the talking here again. But anyway, that's the thing. The longer I've been on the planet, the less sure I'm about a lot of things. But
Right.
the gospel's true. I'm absolutely sure about.
That's
Okay?
awesome. All right. Okay, I'm going to stop it.